All right. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. It is Monday morning, and this is Bubba. Good morning, fellas. I got my boots on. How about you? Got the coffee in hand? All right. How's everybody this morning? Go ahead and hit me up with a message. Got another week ahead of us. If you're tuning in live, drop your trade in the town you're in the comments so I know who's rolling out this morning. And if you're catching this on the replay later, you're still part of the crew. We're all out here trying to do it right, do it safe, do it on time, and provide for our families. Once again, good morning. I've been working on the old studio here, trying to improve the appearance and the feel, and I hope I'm doing a good job. Give me a comment and let me know what you think. What's the weather forecast here? I'm in the northeast Georgia. I guess that would include the metro Atlanta area. So check on the weather for you guys. If you got a weather forecast before I do, I show 54 where I'm at. Let me pull up at a location. Let's see. I'll choose Atlanta, Georgia. Uh, that's fine. All right, let's see. We got boys and girls. All right. How's the weather where you're at? Looks like we got sunny weather in the 50s today. Well, this morning and going into the 70s later on. Hope everybody's rolling this morning. Watch out for those knuckleheads on the highway. Crazy guys. Here I am trying to get some, you know, I'm trying to add this. I'm just trying to figure it out. All right. All right. Here we are. Tried to get it up on the weather bug. Got a darn new phone, and you know how it is when you get a new phone, you got to reprogram everything. So anyway, was that momentary struggle. I'm going to quit. Just put me in the message, in the notes, in the comments. Let me know what the weather's going to be like in your part. We'll see how far we reach out there. All right. It's phrase of the week. Phrase of the week. You know, every week I always try to have a little phrase on here, something to engage everybody. I have chosen now. I don't want anybody to think they can't choose what they think is an aware. If you've got a phrase of the week or a word of the week you'd like to throw out there, please feel more welcome to put it in the comments, and I'll make a note and I'll put it in the script for the next week. But this week, the phrase of the week or the word of the week is awareness. This week's phrase is awareness, and it's one of the most important words in our line of work. Awareness means seeing beyond what's right in front of you. You're recognizing the conditions around you, making sure that you see any hazards or any potential hazards and risks that might bite you. It's simple things like it's on your way in. You know, the weather's cooling off. And the ground's probably getting slicker in the mornings, things like dew, where the air is cooler and the ground is warmer. It creates a wetness on the ground, so things getting slicker in the morning. Make sure you have your safety conversations in the morning and talk to your guys about that kind of stuff. It's spotting that extension cord that might be a little too short. It might be all kinds of things. It's or the scaffold board. You know, it's warped. It's all kinds of things. So as you walk on your job site, and now awareness isn't just about self-preservation. Um, it's leadership. When you stay alert and you call out what others might miss, you're protecting the whole crew. Uh, so be aware of your surroundings. When uh, your tools, your teammates, and yourself. A lack of awareness can lead to close calls, and then close calls are just luck, not safety. My glasses are dirty. Got all kind of little specks in the lights here, but anyway, it's all about awareness, and there's all kinds of easily recognizable hazards on the job site, but think about what could be a hazard. It's just about awareness, and make sure you share that information with your teammates. And the best time to do that, of course, is have this conversation with your crew at the PTP meeting. If you're a supervisor, include it in a line item and make a note on it so that the guys can sign off and show that you've talked about that this morning. And of course, the other thing, if you're not say, the supervisor, you're just the guy who's coming in and you're performing labor, or you're working as a worker. If you're listening to this, make sure you also mention it during the PTP meeting that awareness can save a life. Anyway, moving along, and we've got a couple more minutes here. But awareness is the first line of defense. It keeps accidents from ever being born. Like I mentioned a minute ago, go ahead and check in, everybody, before I move on to the next subject. Looks like everything's rolling along. Got a good connection this morning. I'm on the satellite up here in the bunker, northeast Georgia. Let me do something here. Hang on. I got a twist. Y'all are lucky. You know what? If you're tuning in, you get to watch me try and get this thing together. Now, remember, I'm going to keep doing this old Monday morning Bubba. I might change things up, but if you're getting in on the front end of this thing and you're watching it, you get to watch the whole process change. You get to watch my backgrounds change, my lighting change, the music, the presentation. You're getting to watch all this change. So, anywho, we're moving along, and safety snapshot. We talked about it a minute or so ago, but cooler mornings. They're starting to creep in on us. Boy, it's going to be. We'll be wearing more than sweatshirts in here in just a little while. We'll be wearing coats and multiple layers, and along with that, driving in the morning with the fog. I know up here in the mountains where I live, that old fog, boy, it gets thick. And my elevation, I think, is 2,200 feet. So, it gets kind of foggy. Grandkids will be up here, and they'll say, "Ooh, it's foggy." I said, "Baby, you're living in the clouds." But anyway, cooler mornings are starting to creep in. That means wet grass and the fog and the dew. And it's on the steel. It's on it's concrete floors, finished concrete floors in a building that's still open to the atmosphere. Those concrete floors will get slick, and you could bust a hiney. So make sure if you've got that kind of thing, Make mention to it in the PTP and share that hazard with your guys. Another thing that happens when the weather gets colder, and this is just a physical thing, you can't do anything about it really, is your reaction. Your reaction time slows, and you know, your gear gets stiffer, and your joints and fingers and all that stuff, they take a while to get warmed up and get going. So make sure all your gloves are dry and your boots have grip on them. If I need a new pair of boots, y'all give me a recommendation on some boots. They've gotten high, haven't they? I mean, you can go to Walmart and get a cheap pair that'll last you a month, but who wants to go buy new boots once a month? I like to get them that last. But let me know what kind of boots you're wearing. Mine are do. And as the weather gets colder, you've got more layers on, and that starts to limit your movement. Also, this week we're talking about the toolbox topic on Middleclassbubba, the other channel, is eye protection, eye safety. Because if you can't see, you can't work. So, you know, things like dust and wind and debris, chemicals, any one of these can change your life in a blink, and literally in a blink. So wear the right protection. Safety glasses for basic work, goggles for chemicals, and face shields for grinding and cutting. Keep them clean and keep them unscratched. Yeah, that's possible, but do the best you can. Keep them clean and clear of obstructions. And like I was talking about a minute ago, my glasses are dirty. So dirty lenses cause strain, and scratched ones cause blindness. And you know, dirty lenses cause strain, and scratched ones, I guess, can really cause you to be really distracted in your work. I know that that's the case with me right now. I can't stop in the middle of the street and clean my glasses as much as I'd like to. I don't even have a cleaning pad if I wanted to. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Go ahead and check in. I'd love to see somebody send me a message this early in the morning. I know it's early, and a lot of you are out there just now getting your coffee and getting ready to roll, and you ain't interested in tuning into some happy guy on a YouTube channel. But anyway, if you come across me at any time, just key in and let me know. I haven't done any kind of mass advertisement because I want to get my craft down, and I'd rather do it without a big crowd. Or it don't really matter though, does it? I'm here in the morning, I'm here for me, and I'm here for you. I'm a safety guy by I guess that's what I'm pretty well widely known for. I like to think that I help build leaders and build confidence, and along the way using safety as the tool. But back on the eyes, remember, you only get two eyes. Protect them. Protect them like your paycheck depends on it, because you know what? It does. Here's like to present a job site challenge every week. And it's normally related to the phrase of the week or the word of the week, or the present a job site challenge. And the job site challenge this week is recognizing and communicating hazards. And have this talk in the morning at your PTP meeting, or use it as your early morning safety meeting if you need ideas on safety meetings for your weekly or daily safety meetings. Now, there's supposed to be two different kinds of meetings. OSHA, this is just some standard. I'm throwing it out there because it's relevant. OSHA says that you should offer continuous education and hazards that people face on the job. So, if you have a weekly or a daily safety meeting, and it's defined as a safety meeting, and it only takes 5 minutes, and that'll qualify it. It has a sign-in sheet, and it's a safety topic, such as today's job site challenge, recognizing and communicating hazards. If you made that a toolbox topic, and you have some form of documentation, sign-in sheet, that becomes your safety meeting. The second meeting that's required on a daily basis is a way to communicate the hazards that the workers that do exist or could exist on a job site for that day, for that shift, as a matter of fact. And that's where the PTP comes in, and some call it a JHA, a job hazard analysis. I use the phrase PTP, which is a pre-task plan. And in that document, it talks about what the hazards are on the job if you're working from heights or you're using noisy jackhammers, but you talk about the hazards that are associated with that particular activity and how you mitigate it, and that's part of the PTP. So that's a thing you should be having every day. But anyway, we're back to the job site challenge, and I encourage you to put this in if you're a supervisor or if you're an employee. Just go ahead and throw it out there in the morning and make it a challenge, recognizing and communicating hazards. See how many real and potential hazards that you can spot before lunch. Give it a go, and look at your walkways, your ladders, your scaffolding, your power cords, housekeeping areas, and ask yourself, what could hurt someone? What could hurt me? It's like I said, someone else. And then communicate it. That's the part that too many skip. I've seen guys that'll walk around a hazard, they see it, and it's a trip hazard, and they'll walk around it. And one of their coworkers created it. And instead of calling it out, they just avoid it and go on about their business and leave that hazard in place. And it's still an exposure. So if you don't communicate a hazard or you don't fix it, if you see Joe and he leaves his power cord or a hose or something strung in a way that could cause a trip hazard, and you see him do it, and you don't make mention to it, you're just as much at fault as Joe. So make sure you communicate it. That's the part that so many skip. A hazard unseen helps no one, and a hazard unspoken helps nobody either. So speak up, point it out, fix what you can, and report what you can. That's how awareness turns into action. So anyway, make sure you point out those hazards and make it a challenge. Make it something interesting and not a Dullville kind of thing. Just and get out there as a supervisor and participate with the guys on that kind of thing. Supervisors, that's your job, is to always be on the lookout for hazards. And if you train your crew to do that as well, you'll have a safer, more effective, more productive, and efficient crew. Believe me, I've seen it work a lot. So go ahead and take advantage of that hazard recognition type of thing. All right, let's get on to the most. I'm just checking out some stuff here. I got a new soundboard. I'm trying to work some stuff out. Okay, well, how about some laugh this morning? Anybody got a joke? Send me something in the message there. Give me a laugh moment. Give me something to laugh about, and we'll share a joke. By the way, I'm not really if I want to say this. You can call me in if you send me a message in the comments while the show is live, and we're here every Monday morning between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. If you send me a message with your number, I can call you and you can be on the show. I haven't tried it out yet, so if you want to be part of the experiment, man, I sure would appreciate it. So anyway, here we are. How about a laugh? Why did the carpenter wear sunglasses to work? It's just like a carpenter. Because safety is always in style. All right. I'm okay. Let me turn. All right. Anyway, safety is always in style. What did the drywall say to the demolition crew? Dust to dust, my friends. Dust to dust. All right. Joke 3. Why don't welders ever get into arguments? They always keep things on the bright side. Womp, womp, womp. Anyway, anybody got a joke? I'm messing around with these old sound pads, and let's see. That's the wrong one. And that's that applaud for that old dust to dust joke. We had a guy once who, and y'all seen him, God almighty, keep his safety glasses on his hard hat all day long. Always couldn't get him to change his, just always, well, they're getting fogged up. They're scratched. I can't get my supervisor to give me a new pair. And y'all hang on. I can't take these dirty glasses. Let me do something here. I don't know what I'm doing. Y'all hang on a minute. I'll be right back. right. Sorry about that. Had There are no glasses. You buy these things by the hundreds, and they're not that expensive. Uh, we're talking about this guy wearing his safety glasses on his head, or on his hard hat. Got them attached to some other place on his self other than where they should be, is on the eyeballs, and complain about them being dirty or scratched or whatever. Uh, OSHA standards says that your employer has to provide you with the safety gear that's necessary for your protection on the job site, and that does include hard hats, safety glasses, gloves. It doesn't mean he's provides you a endless supply on demand. And what that means is that if your glasses get scratched through your performance of work, then he'll replace them. He'll replace them. So what that means is you give him your old glasses, your old gloves that are wore out, and he'll replace them. That's much better. It doesn't mean that if you leave them under the shade tree a quarter mile away where you had lunch and you too darn lazy to go back and get them, that he should just give you another pair. No. You're responsible for your PPE. Okay? That's much better, much cleaner. So anyway, and you can keep them maintained and increase the longevity out of them, and your employer can help you do that by providing cleaning things or whatever. Anyway, once had a guy who wore his safety glasses on his hard hat all day when a piece of wire snapped and hit him on the cheek, right here. He said, "Man, I didn't see that coming." And old boy told him, he said, "That's because your glasses didn't either." Everybody laughed, but nobody forgot to wear their safety glasses after that. I had a demo crew one time. I think called him Raymond. And it was typical for all the heavy equipment operators. They were running some pretty substantial demolition equipment, and Raymond that day was running a shear, and he was demoing some heavy structure, and it was old too, boys, that good steel, and it was riveted together. And I don't know if any of y'all know anything about shears. They have a pinching movement, and as he was when you pinch those things, because of the forces, it has a tendency to twist. And as he was making that cut and it twisted, it popped a rivet head off, and that rivet head came through the front glass of his excavator, through the cage. It had a cage on it. I think we went to wire mesh after that. You got to remember, they got to have visibility, and out the back glass. And I always encouraged them to wear their hard hats and safety glasses in their equipment, and it's not a requirement under the OSHA standard the way that most people interpret it. And I did the investigation, and I took a piece of, I guess it was some kind of rod, a metal rod, might have been a dowel or something, and ran it through the cab, through the holes, and that path was right where his head was. And I asked him afterward, I said, "Raymond, have you ever reconsidered about wearing your hard hat and safety glasses while you're operating your equipment?" And he goes, bucked up old testosterone was started speaking, and he says, "Well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be." I said, "It's your choice, buddy." But I went out on the job site that day after lunch, and there he was wearing that hard hat and them safety glasses. So were all the other operators. That close call. Thank goodness it didn't hit him. Good Lord, could you imagine the mess? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, it would have hit him right in his noggin. Anyway, that's part of that joke about wearing your hard hat. I got a question last week on how to manage dust on a sheetrock wall demolition. Now, there's all kinds of ways to do that. And the safety person that called me, I guess I'm not sure what their experience is, and it doesn't even really matter. What they had was they were working for a contractor who raised concerns about the dust during sheetrock demolition. And at first it was, well, there could be asbestos in there. Well, you do your research, and sheetrock is gypsum, and the only really potential for any kind of asbestos has ever had been in the tape. Now, if there's a safety professional out there who's tuning in this morning and you've got some better information, I'm more than willing to hear it, because we're here to share information and protect each other. But anyway, that argument was valid, and then it was a matter of dust. And I understand that when you're doing interior demolition and you're demoing out sheetrock, it creates a great deal of dust. Now, is it in a public area? Here's some questions you got to ask yourself. If you're doing this sheetrock demolition, is it in a public area where people are working? Then you have to seal off the area and use poly sheeting or temporary walls to keep the dust and seal off all the vents, the HVAC exhaust and return ducts. You have to seal those off to prevent that dust from being sucked up, scattered throughout the building. And it's a nuisance, and it could be a hazard. It could cause people to have respiratory problems. And some companies go as far as using negative air machines just to control dust, and that's fine and dandy. But the best way is water. And one suggestion was using one of those fans that has the ring around it and sprays water, constant fogging or a misting fans. And the concern, which was valid, that it could cause a wet and slippery floor. And that's true. So you're protecting your workers' lungs, but creating a different hazard, a slip and fall hazard. And then using vacuums, because I don't think OSHA defines, but there is no dry sweeping, and it's based on the silica standard now, but dry sweeping is prohibited. So it's got to be moist when I need to call that person and see if they got it worked out. I may call this morning. What time is it? It's 5:29, so it's a little. Well, actually, it's 5:38. I'm sorry. So it's a little early yet for me to call and inquire on how that went for them. But my suggestion, and I've seen it used hundreds of times, is you can buy the airless paint sprayers. I suggest the industrial ones where you drop the siphon into a 5-gallon bucket of paint, but instead of spraying paint what you do is you fill it with water. Uh, and that 5 gallons of water, those pump up sprayers that and I'm going, no, 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 no. Those things use too much water and you're wasting manpower going back and forth and filling them up. 5 gallon bucket with one of those airless paint sprayers will last a lot longer than pumping up. And you just have a person who's in the area who's doing the work as they demo that sheetrock, misting the area, and it'll knock that dust down. And it's amazing how what the difference it'll make. Um, and it doesn't wet the floor. It just keeps enough moisture so you can not be dry sweeping that sheetrock dust up. So that's the best solution. So if you have that, if you're doing interior demolition, and you're doing sheetrock, ceiling tile, any of that stuff, there's a lot of dust in those ceiling tiles on the top side. It's amazing how much dust accumulates up there. So if you get those an airless sprayer, now they're relatively expensive. I think Harbor Freight has some that are pretty inexpensive. And now there is maintenance on those things, and you'll have to talk to some of the guys in the field who's done maintenance on them. Some of the valves get wore out or dirty or corroded, or it's just part of the regular maintenance of running those machines. And you can buy the parts and get one or two guys trained up on how to replace those parts. It's not a big deal. But that's the best way I've seen controlling dust in a demolition of sheetrock in an interior space. Anyway, that's the thing I covered with them. But do make sure that they have eye protection, and it may require some respiratory protection. I don't think so. You could take a look at it, and it depends on. I don't you. You'll have to do your research on that, but I've seen it where it was clean enough that you didn't have to do that kind of thing. Anyway, keep that in mind. If you have any questions, you can contact me via email or, contact me via email or send me a message over the YouTube channels, and we'll get you squared away. Anywho, moving along. Got your coffee yet? Y'all rolling, picking up you guys, going to the shop, getting tools and material to get your work done. So let me know, check in with me, let me know what you're doing this morning. Anyway, okay, we are on eye protection a little bit this morning. So, I got a little section here called Tools and Tricks. Anti-fog, anti-scratch, and lens care of your safety glasses. That could be important. I'd change out that tobacco. I know tobacco's the sin of the century. Sin of the last century? Or sin of this century? Hell, the sin of 2 centuries. I guess it was in favor for centuries as a use by the Indians and the settlers, and shipped it to Europe, and part of the history of America that made America wealthy, the delight in tobacco, and now they're in a spiral of taxing it, and the more you tax it, the less people smoke it, the less people buy it, the more you have to tax it. It's just a downward spiral, and I don't know where they're going to end up with. They fund all these programs for smoking cessation or tobacco cessation, using the tax money they generated from the sale of the product, and then all these programs are in place, and now they don't sell enough to support the program, so now they want the taxpayers to continue. Anyway, politics. They keep that out of it. But since we're on the the topic of eye care, here's a little few tricks of the trade. They make this anti-fog spray and these anti-fog wipes for cooler weather. It keeps condensation off your glasses. Now, we used to just spit on ours. You see some old scuba divers. Now, if you've ever been scuba diving, it's the same thing. You you put those goggles on, and the water's colder than your face, and the heat coming off the face, it creates condensation inside them glasses. That's what causes condensation, is the temperature differential on the same as on your windshield in the morning. You covered in dew, and you could just spit on them. That's what I used to do, spit on them and wipe it down with your bandana. It worked for me. But anyway, they make stuff you can spray on it and some wipes now. So store your glasses in a soft pouch or something to prevent scratches. And I find that most scratches are a result of, oh boy, you saw me use a wet wipe to clean my glasses a minute ago. But most scratches result in the guy using his old T-shirt or something. They'll get covered up in dust and grime, and he'll take his T-shirt and just wipe them off without putting any moisture in it, float that stuff off. That's how they get scratched. So, I've used them for tourniquets. I'm an old Boy Scout, I reckon. I've used them for tourniquets. A guy cut his hand. I just give it to him here. He tried to give it back to me in blood after he got back from the hospital. I said, just keep it, man. But I always keep, I believe a man should keep a bandana, and I believe in a pocket knife too, on hand. Let's see if I can get it back in my pocket. Lord, that was an effort. Anyway, But that grind, if you're out there working in the field and it gets covered in old dirt and dust, and you go to wipe it off with your T-shirt, that's all you're doing is scratching your glasses. They say also you can rotate 2 pairs so you're always got a clean backup. I don't know if your employer will provide that. Them old boys would kill me. About them high-dollar Ray-Bans or Oakleys or whatever. I said, boy, them safety glasses. They said, yes, sir, Z87. I said, them fine glasses, how much you pay for them? $80, $120. And you wearing them on a job site? You scratching them up by dry cleaning them? You a fool. Your employer give you a cheap pair. Vanity knows no pain. Clear vision is a safe vision. Care for your lenses like you do your tools, because they are tools. All right. Now, we got just a few minutes left here. I appreciate anybody who's participated. Haven't seen anybody pop in. It'd be nice to see somebody have a cup of coffee. I'm doing this, and I'm getting better every day. I tell you what I will do. I'd like to change microphones, so I'm going to go to, I got a boom mic, so I want to try that, see how it sounds. Y'all let me know. All right, now I'm on that old boom mic. It sounds a little more echoey. I don't know. I can't ever tell. I'd love to get this boom mic set up so that I don't have this thing in front of me. I could put it off to the side and still have a conversation with you. I guess I'll listen to this later on today and see how it sounds. But I always like to, now I have a digital assistant. You can see her over my right shoulder there, right there. Oh, where is she? There she is. Pluriforia. And that's the image of herself, and I call her Pluriforia because she is the goddess of information, knowledge, and sharing. She helps me write these shows every week, and she threw this in, and it's called Trade Wisdom. And today we've been talking on awareness and accountability. Now, an accident is the result of inattention or ignorance. Awareness is the cure for both. All right? So being aware is it removes inattention, and it's a choice. When you're on a job site, look, you're there for 8 hours a day, and it's broken down. And the reason it's broken down into segments, you have your, you got your startup, and then around 9 o'clock, 9:30 or so, you get a few minutes break to manage your personal business, make a phone call, get a snack, whatever you want to do, and then you go back to work till lunchtime. And during that work time, you need to be focused on your work, being aware of all the hazards around you. If you're not, then you could be ignorant. And now, ignorance is not knowing. You could be ignorant to the hazards around you because you're unaware. You're not being focused on your work. You can't fix what you don't see, and you can't prevent what you don't notice. So if you focus on the job, focus on what you're doing, then you're going to increase your performance and your safety. Now, this week on MCB Ventures, which is there's two channels. This channel I just do live streams on, and I don't know why. Somebody told me the algorithm messes it up, and it doesn't matter. Neither one of these channels are what I call a paradigm of success. They're just out there for information, and it keeps me active and keeps me mentally engaged with my profession. And I have an opportunity to share with you guys and reach out and help you be a better person and increase your safety and all that stuff. And that's why I do it. But this week on MCB Ventures, we're diving into eye safety. And the title of that Toolbox Talk, me and Clearfora wrote it yesterday. So it's just now in the script stage. But I'll be recording that later the week, and I'll publish it on Friday. But we'll talk about impact hazards, chemical splashes. There's UV exposures and small habits that can really make a big difference in eye protection. And there's various types of hazards out there that, like I said, impact, UV exposure, just being in the sunlight all day without having a shaded lens can cause eye strain, and over time, cataracts and things like that. So it's because it's not just about wearing the glasses, it's about seeing danger before it sees you. So that's what's on the channel. Also, if you're a supervisor, or if you're just a guy out there, if you want to have more knowledge about safety, then go check out the other channel. I think I've got a couple hundred safety videos, and I think there's some drone videos and a couple other things and some leadership training and things like that. But go check that out if you need some ideas. I've been working on that channel for 5 years, and I think there's 600, 700 subscribers. But anyway, that's something I'm doing just to keep me engaged and to reach out and hopefully be a help to someone else. And I'm about done with my coffee, and I bet y'all about ready to get started. Now, you probably don't even have to be on the job site at 7. Now, last month I was on a job site. They started at 6:30, and I liked it. Them boys was ready to go. They rolling. Had a great bunch of guys. Had a safety meeting every morning. Not a safety. We had a safety meeting every morning, and it was in that safety meeting. I was working for the general contractor, and we had two subcontractors, and the part of the safety routine is once we had, you know, general, that's my responsibility. We have a subject, and it could be eye protection, it could be working together, it could be communicating at, it could be any of these things that I talk about. And then each contractor would step up and review with the whole team what their team would be doing today. So that would increase awareness so that we knew what other contractors were doing, where they were working, what the hazards were in their area. So that was a real good team. They were high. They were high in productivity, and they were also high in performing their work in a safe, timely, and efficient manner. So I really enjoyed working with those cats. Anyway, it is 05:55, and I've got just a minute or two left to be with you. You know, this week, I'm grateful for the eyes that see the hazards before they happen. The awareness that keeps us safe and brings everyone home. Now, awareness isn't tuck. And I don't know why I said tuck. I meant to say luck. Awareness is not luck. It's discipline. It's choosing to pay attention. Even when the job is routine, that's when most things happen. You know, most people they get complacent. They've done this project, this type of work 1,000 times. I ain't done gonna have I know how to do it. And then one moment of distraction, lose a finger, get a couple teeth knocked out. That old buddy, he was what was he? He was a pipe fitter, rigger. He had rigger. He was a rigger, and he didn't have no teeth on this side of the face. He's a good worker. He's conscientious and all this stuff. And I don't remember, and I do, but I ain't gonna call it out. I said, "Hey man, what's going on?" And I said, "Man," I was talking to somebody. I said, "He's a hard worker. I don't know why he don't spend some money on his appearance." And they told me that he was rigging one time and wasn't paying any attention, and the crane was bringing the rigging back down, put it in place for the next pick, and he had turned his back, and that darn shackle swung into him. He didn't see it, and it caught him in the side of the head and knocked every tooth out of that side of his face. Anyway, broke them and knocked some of them out and chipped them, and oh man. So anyway, awareness isn't luck. It's discipline. It's choosing to pay attention even when the job is routine. So let's stay sharp, stay alert, and keep our vision clear in every sense of the word. So stay safe, stay sharp, and stay on time. More importantly, and I say this all the time, I want you to have a grateful day. Count your blessings. Look around you, the people you work with, your family, your relatives, the place you're in. Be grateful for what you have, because gratitude is the very beginning of greatness. You cannot be great without being grateful. All right, boys and girls, I've certainly enjoyed this morning. Y'all have a grateful day, and we'll see you next week. Let me see if I can get adios.